So, hey y'all, I'm back. I don't know if you had seen some of my statuses on Facebook and Instagram, but I got embarrassed last week. I was so embarrassed for myself and the people around me. Stay tuned to find out what it was. Okay, so I'm back. So I know you guys don't know, but in my previous company life, I have driven a Freightliner. I have driven a Volvo. Freightliner 2020 definitely will let you know what happened to me wouldn't have happened to me had I been in a Freightliner. So I get a load to Miami, my hometown, where I live, where I was born and raised. I was too excited. I had a drop at the Publix distribution center, and I'm feeling like the boss, the queen, when I walk out, because I'm like, this is my city. I goes into the the shipping receiving office with my paperwork. I see a couple of people I know. We chopping it up, you know what I'm saying? They like, oh, we so proud of you. You know, you driving trucks now, you doing your thing. Cool. Now, mind you, when I got there, it was a complete cluster. I don't know what Publix had going on that morning, but they gave me a door, and somebody was in my door. The drivers that was there before me, other drivers was in their door. So can you imagine 6 trucks in the smallest parking lot with their doors open, ready to back in, and somebody's in your door? So it was just a mess. So I was already flustered because I had to do at least between 70 to 75 miles per hour, up 75, and then hit the turnpike to get to my appointment on time, which was 9 o'clock. So I was already tired, but nonetheless, I'm gonna be home for the weekend. I'm cool with that. So I know I'm bouncing around, but I just gotta remember how things happen, because I don't edit my videos. I give it to you guys raw and uncut, so you guys will be growing with me. So as my channel grows and the more videos I do, I'll get more focused on how to tell you guys a story. But for now, I'm talking to a friend, so you know this is how friends do. We ramble a lot of times. So anyway, I get my door, and like I said, I took my paperwork in, chopped it up with a few people. So they unload me pretty fast. I want to say it took them maybe 3.5 hours, which is not bad. So as I'm getting ready to go in to get my paperwork, I see an FFE driver pull in. And of course, you guys, you watched the previous video, you know that I used to drive for FFE. So I was too excited to actually see a local driver in Miami at this particular customer, because I had questions. Because before I brought my own truck, I had been trying to get onto the FFE Miami terminal as a local driver, because in my mind they made more money than us who drove line haul. Like, you're getting paid by the hour, and I'm sure that they didn't have a lot of hours, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm going to make the same amount of money that I made OTR, then I might as well be local and be in my bed every night. But anyway, so as I see the driver walking back to his truck, going across the front of my truck, I roll my window down, and I'm like, hey, you know, I used to drive for FFE. So when he saw me, he knew who I was. He said, yeah, you, I used to see you at the terminal with your husband when he used to pick you up and drop you off. He was like, you know, so we started chopping it up that, you know, I brought my own truck. I'm no longer with FFE. I left back in September, technically, even though I got my truck in November, and the process took forever to get through. But yeah, he was like, yeah, that's what's up. So we was talking about the truck. We was just basically running our mouth. But mind you, before I started talking to him, I went to start the truck, and I noticed that it wouldn't turn. But I just was like, okay, I'm going to get my paperwork, and when I come back, everything should be fine. So I'm going to get my paperwork because my signed bill, because they unloaded me. I go in, get my signed bill, come back, and the guy was outside of his truck. He walked over to me, and then I got in my truck, and it wouldn't start. So I had a battery issue before, even though I have new batteries. I have a jump pack in my truck, so I go and get the jump pack. We try to jump it, but it seemed to had not been fully charged. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not enough to jump the truck. Luckily enough, in my mind, the Publix terminal has a mechanic shop, because of course they have trucks, so they need to service their own fleet. So I walked like, at least, I want to say this had to be a half a mile. In Miami, it's hot. I know I just came from, where did I just come from? Pennsylvania, I think. Was it Pennsylvania? Yeah, Pennsylvania. Hamburg, Pennsylvania. I just came from Pennsylvania with this load. And it was cold. So now it's hot. I'm walking half a mile to get to where the mechanic shop is. I get down there thinking they might have a jump pack. They didn't have a jump pack, but the shop manager was kind enough to say, we'll send somebody down there to try to see if they can give you a jump. We can't diagnose you. We can't give you a diagnosis, but we can at least attempt to give you a jump. So I'm like, cool, I can respect that. Anything will help. So I walk back to the truck. They come down with this GMC truck. I'm thinking that he was going to come with a battery pack. He actually comes down with a GMC pickup truck, and he tries to give me a jump with some jumper cables. Nothing. And I'm like, oh my God. So I keep turning it, and then I see something flash on the dash that says the starter is over, or it said over too hot. Something about let the starter cool down. So I'm like, I'm hoping that it's not the starter, because the radio and everything is coming on. The lights are coming on and everything, but I don't hear anything. Because the last time my battery went dead, at least the truck I can hear the truck trying to start. This was complete silence. So the guy from FFE, he's talking to me. And when I tell you, like, he's rambling, and it's just making me more frustrated. So I know my husband has a battery pack in his car. So I call him. He don't answer. Call him again. He don't answer. And mind you, he knows that I am coming home. We already talked. You have to come and pick me up from where I parked the truck. So I told him, keep your phone on you. So when I call, I need you to come get me. I called him at least 25 times. No answer. So of course, when he finally does answer, I'm like, where the fuck are you? I need you to get here. Bring the battery pack now. I'm stuck in these people's door. I need to be able to pull out of the door. I'm thinking it's the battery. So he finally comes, but in the meantime, the FFE driver, he says he went to mechanic school, technician school, and even he was talking. It didn't even sound like he knew what he was talking about, but he was like, it might be the starter. I had another driver come, got on top, and it's a little something that pressurizes the truck with the fuel or something like that, and he was pumping it to see if I can get it to start. Nothing. So we just trying to figure out, like, what the hell, because I had the truck off while I was getting unloaded. Because I'm like, I'm home, it's not that hot, they shouldn't take long, I don't want to burn fuel, because fuel in Miami is expensive. So I need at least some fuel to get me halfway out of Florida when I leave, to so it can be a little cheaper on me. So that's, in my mind, I didn't even have the truck on. So I'm like, what could have killed the battery? And I'm like, okay, I know I was back here watching TV, but TV is only, 100 watts off of my power inverter. So what could have, I'm like, what the hell? So, okay, so my husband finally comes. His battery pack is fully charged, nothing. So the FFE driver had already gave me a phone number to where FFE get their trucks worked on, and they so happen to be like a few, I want to say maybe 2.5 miles from where I was. So I called the guy, and he tells me, okay, to come out, it's $95, no, it's $80 service fee, plus $95 an hour, minimum 2 hours. So I'm like, oh God. So in my mind, again, I'm preparing for the worst. So I started calling a dealer to find out exactly how much would a starter cost for a 2017 Peterbilt engine 579. I don't know what they got going on at the dealer, but I guess their parts department, they can't just go in, because I used to work at a parts store. So you give us the year of the vehicle, the make and the model, we put in a starter, it pops up. But I guess at the dealer, they have to pull up some kind of diagram of the engine to get the actual number of the part. So I'm like frustrated, and I keep saying, hello, are you there? I was on the phone with him at least 12 minutes just for him to tell me that the starter was $454. So I'm like, oh God, I hope that that's not the problem, because I just spent $2,100 on getting my coolant manifold fixed. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm waiting on the guy who's supposed to come and look at the truck to tell me what's the problem. Waiting on him. He finally comes. My husband is standing there. The FFE driver is standing there. So it's all 4 of us. So he pulls out his battery pack. He goes to connect it to the battery. Asks me to turn it. Nothing. I mean nothing. So he's like, okay, he asked me to check the voltage on the dash. Mind you, this is still a new truck. I don't have a gauge that tells me the voltage on the truck, on the batteries. So I'm like fumbling through the dash to find, because it has to be there. You have to know what your voltage is, but I never really checked it. So I finally found it, and it said it was 12.0 voltage. So he was like, well, that's good. So we don't understand, like, you know, why it's not starting. So he's like, okay, let me see if it's, you know, maybe a bad connection or something. So he's getting ready to open the stairs. He's drilling, getting ready to unscrew the top part of the stairs so he can actually look at the batteries and see what's going on. So as he's doing that, he's heard a panic in my voice, because I was like, what you doing? Like, because in my mind, you just lift the flap up and you can see the batteries. He was like, no, I need to take this off to see what's going on. So I'm like, okay. And it's getting hot now, because the doors open, no AC, the truck won't start. I'm sweating. My dog is aggravating me because she sees her papa now and she wants to get out of the truck, so she's crying. Everything is just frustrating me. I'm one of those people, when I get frustrated, everything just seems to turn blurry. I don't hear nothing. I don't see nothing. I can't say I fold under pressure. I just get really frustrated, and I'm snappy. It's like I need a Snickers to get back to where I need to be. And my husband knows that, so he's like standing back, you know, just watching. So as he's getting ready to take off the top of the stairs, he happens to walk past, and you could tell he just randomly asked me. He was like, is this a manual or standard? So I was like, it's automatic. So he just so happened to peek round. He said, is it in neutral? When I tell y'all, I looked over to my right, and I saw that my truck was in drive. Is why I wouldn't start. Baby! I started to scream right there in that Publix parking lot. Do you hear me? I mean, oh my God, I cannot believe. So when I threw it in neutral, the goddamn truck started. You know, so the man was like, yeah, I'm sorry, baby girl. You know, I still got to charge you, you know, 80 and 95 per hour, and it's 2 hour minimum. I'm like, bruh, hell nah. So I called back to the guy who owns the place. I was like, sir, your mechanic didn't have to do a thing. All he did was check to see if he can jump me. It wouldn't jump. And he told me to put my truck in neutral, and it started. I was like, sir, what can you do for me? So he was like, okay, just give me 1 hour, $95. I was cool with that. But the fact that I had to pay somebody $95 just to tell me my truck was in drive, I had to pay for that lesson. Because I'm so used to Freightliner, when your truck is not in neutral, it'll tell you that on the dash. Peterbilt don't tell you that on the dash. And not only that, I was already flustered and frustrated, so it never dawned on me to look over and see if the truck was in neutral. My dumb ass. I had nobody to blame but myself. Nobody. But it was a relief because now I know the truck has to be in neutral. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to front. So I talked to my brother who drives trucks. He's been driving trucks going on 5 years. And I talked to him later on that night. And he was like, well, if you would have called me, I would have told you. That would have been the first thing I would have told you. Really? So on the way home, my husband giving me these stories. I don't know why I ain't thinking that. Because we, you know, on the dock with the mules, we usually have to play with the neutral. Bruh, save the story. Because you was standing there the whole time and they ain't never say that. I had the other guy who's FFE driver who claims he's this technician. It never dawned on you to tell me to make sure the truck was in neutral. So we had dumb, and dumbest, myself included, standing all around. They cost me $95. I'll be John Brown. So yeah, that's how I was embarrassed. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Get your laugh on. Drop it in the comment. Don't try to come for me. Cause yeah, we all have our moments. I ain't hurt nobody but myself in my pockets. You know what I'm saying? I went and got my nails done. I usually get them longer, but I couldn't afford to because I just had to give somebody $95, so I had to get a short set. So I'm trying to reserve my money. I'm a coin. I can't keep, I can't be spending my money like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Please like, share, comment. I got another video coming up on the topic of no one is going to be holding your hand as an owner operator out here. Yeah, this is definitely the big leagues. So I'm glad you guys stuck around. I appreciate you. I love you. Get your moolah. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse, all of that under the name @Mulah Baby. Follow, please, subscribe, hit the notifications, all that.